And we are jumping into our final question now. I'm just going to check. Everyone's been very quiet today. I think everyone's probably no questions from anyone here today. No. So we're just going to finish up with our question here with Leanne, and this is a really great one and something that you have seen, no doubt, with 16 years of experience in human resources around building teams and building great cultures. So and building teams and cultures is sometimes a little bit overlooked as well when we're really busy and we're doing the work and trying to create the impact that we want in the communities that we love and care about. So as a final tip, and to finish on a positive note, what are some of the best low-cost team engagement strategies that you have seen?
I'll give you a few different examples. Some of them are very tactical things that you can do, and other things are broader views of how to keep an engaged team. And like I mentioned earlier, an engaged team is the sum of all of the parts. It's not just one thing that you do that makes a big difference. One really simple thing that I love, that I used to see an amazing manager that I really respected do, he created something called the Jar of Awesome. And it may not have been his idea, I don't know, but it was incredibly powerful. And the Jar of Awesome was an opportunity that once a week, usually on a Friday afternoon, the team, it was about 15, 20 people in the team, all had an opportunity to write a little something on a note, put it in the jar, and it was something about somebody else in the team that they'd observed. So it was providing some really positive feedback to them about something that they'd done or said, or observed, or the way that they contributed. And every Friday they would ring a bell, they would take turns at pulling something out of the Jar of Awesome, read out who it was for, and everyone would get to share in what made that person awesome that week. Really simple, cost absolutely nothing, half an hour of the team's time, but resulted in a lot of laughter, a lot of engagement, and a lot of that mutual respect and mutual feedback to each other, which was a great strategy or a great tactic. From personal experience, I find that the most engaged teams are those that have an opportunity to innovate, the ones that are given, that are empowered to have autonomy in their job. They're not micromanaged, they're supported and developed by leaders or by managers that coach them. They invest in them personally, they invest in them professionally, and that's not in dollars, that's investing in them in time. And teams that have got a passion for the impact that they're creating. But to have that passion, they're also on board through the whole journey. They're on board because they understand the values and the visions and the goals of the business. They feel supported along the way. They celebrate successes, and they build a team identity. They hold each other mutually accountable. And engaged teams are not necessarily teams that are always harmonious. An engaged team could be a team that loves a robust discussion, and that robust discussion ends up with a really different solution to a problem. So engagement is not so much, it's not always what you do, sometimes it's just how you do it. It's not always the fun stuff, it's all of the stuff that happens together along with the fun stuff that keeps a team engaged from the point that they join through the point that they leave.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you, Leanne. That's excellent. We did have one sneaky last question just come through. And this is a question from Chris, if we can just do this one before we wrap up, if that's okay. And Chris says, hi to you, Chris. I am starting a new business with one goal being B Corp certification. And Chris's question is two parts. One, is there an advantage to setting up with certain type of legal structure? For example, is it better to start as a company rather than as a sole trader? Can you answer that one for us, please, Leanne?
Sure. I don't think there's an advantage either way in terms of B Corp, but the advantage is if you're intending to grow or grow quickly, I believe the company structure is a better way to go. And that's because some of the governance that you'll put in place over time will be easier with a company structure than as a sole trader. If your intention is not to be growing in terms of employees, just in services, it may work just as well to be a sole trader. So the answer really depends on what your end goal is and what your bigger picture vision for the organisation is. And whatever it is, I hope it's going to be hugely successful for you. And congratulations for taking the plunge and starting that.
Excellent. Thank you. Chris, does that help? Please feel free just to pop a little note there in the chat box and see if that helps. And I just want to start to wrap up and say thank you very much, Leanne, today for preparing and sharing your wisdom and experience with everyone here today. And thank you to everyone for coming along today. If you're new to Ask X Factor and you enjoyed the experience today, please feel free to share the news of the X Factor Collective and Ask X Factor Live being a part of the social impact sector. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, we'll probably add a few other social media things like Instagram next year, and we'll follow up with you with an email so you've got some follow-up material from today, and also our contact details if you ever need us to help you advance your social mission. So thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you, Leanne. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. And thanks to everyone for being part of our 18-week pilot. Have a most beautiful day.